Welcome to the video solution of your selected question from the Mathematics the Easy Way DVD. If you have not yet seen the introduction video on the DVD, please do so now, as it outlines how the Easy Way series will help students to be successful in their CXC exam. While the Easy Way video solutions will help to cement the understanding of certain special questions, the solution books are still absolutely necessary as they cover all the various types of questions that are set in CXC exams.
We're now at question 8, CSEC Math Exam January 2013 video solution. And question 8 gives us the first 3 diagrams in a pattern. So when n equals 1, we have 1 square here. When n equals 2, we have 2 squares up the middle and 1 on each side. And when n equals 3, we have 3 squares up the middle and 2 on each side. And the first part wants us to draw the fourth diagram. And so based on this pattern, we see that the diagram number n matches the number of squares up the middle, and then there's always 1 square less than up the middle on each side. And so when the number up the middle is 2, there's 1 on each side, and when the number up the middle is 3, there are 2 on each side. And so we can construct the fourth diagram by following that pattern. And so first I'll put the 4 for the fourth diagram. I'll put the 4 up the middle, and then I'll put 3 squares on one side here and 3 on the other side here. And this is it, 3 on that side, 3 on the right, and so that is the fourth diagram in the pattern. And now based on our observation, it would be good if we can come up with a pattern formula before we proceed to the next part of the question. And based on the observation, we want to calculate the number of squares in each diagram. And so if the diagram number is n, there will be n squares up the middle and n minus 1 squares on each side. So the total number of squares would be n up the middle plus n minus 1 on the left and n minus 1 on the right. That is the case with all the patterns. When there are 3 up the middle, there is 3 minus 1, which is 2 on the left, and 3 minus 1, which is 2 on the right. And so if the diagram number is n, then the number of squares would be n up the middle, n minus 1 on the left, and n minus 1 on the right. And so this reduces to n plus 2 times n minus 1, n up the middle, and then the 2 n minus 1s on each side. And so this formula can be used to calculate the number of squares in each pattern. Let's move down now to part B. So what we have so far is our formula for calculating the number of squares, and we are given this table to complete. We have 1, 2, 3 figures, and now we want the number of squares in diagram 4. That is A. We are trying to calculate A. And so using this formula, A would be equal to 4 plus 2 times 3. 4 plus 2 times 4 minus 1, which is 3. And so that would be the formula when the diagram number is 4. And that reduces to 10. And so there will be 10 squares in diagram number 4. For diagram number 10, again, we can apply this formula. And so it will be 10 plus 2 times 10 minus 1, which will be 9. And so the number of squares B in diagram 10 will be equal to 10 plus 2 times 9 using this formula. And that calculation gives us 28. Here now we have the number of squares and we want the diagram number. So we can do this calculation using the same formulation, right? Where in this case n is equal to c. And so if n is equal to c, then c plus 2 times c minus 1 will be equal to 40 squares. We are trying to find the diagram number c. And so using the same formula, c, in this case n is c, so it's c plus 2 times c minus 1 here would be equal to 40. And all we need to do now is calculate the value of c from this equation. This is it. When we expand the bracket here, we get 2 multiplied by c is 2c, 2 multiplied by minus 1 is minus 2. And so c plus 2c here is 3c, and then this negative 2 comes on this side to add to 40 to become 42. And so that reduces to 3c equals 42. And then when we divide through by 3, we end up with c equals to 14. And so the diagram number here, when the number of squares is 40, is 14. So when the diagram number is 14, the number of squares is 40. Let's move down now to part C. Part C now wants us to give an expression in terms of n for the number of squares in the nth diagram. That's what we are required to do. Find an expression for the number of squares in the nth diagram. And we can start with this formulation that we have for the number of squares and reduce that to a simpler term. And this is it. The number of squares in the nth diagram will be equal to this. And this reduces to n plus 2n minus 2. That's what happens when we expand this bracket. 2 times n is 2n. 2 times minus 1 is minus 2. And then now n plus 2n is 3n. And so that reduces to 3n minus 2. So that's a more simplified formula for the number of squares in the nth diagram. And that's the answer for question 8. And we'll do question 9 in the next video. See you then.
You have just seen the video solution for a special CXC question, but this is only one of the many different ways that these questions are written. All mathematical principles can only be fully understood by solving many questions, and so I always tell my students, more maths equals better maths, and if they study hard, they will pass easily. All the various types of CXC questions are covered in the Easy Way Mathematics Solution book, and you need to practice every single one of them. Other books in the series are the Easy Way Multiple Choice Specimen book, the Easy Way Unit 1 Cape Mathematics Solution book, and the Easy Way Account Solution book. Please feel free to contact me with your comments and queries at any time.